Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns. You're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role playing games with friends. This is part of the Gauntlet Community Open Gaming Weekend. We do one every quarter right now. We started that during the pandemic because folks want a game. And this is our kind of open invitational. There are folks who are part of the Gauntlet community. We've got two fine, upstanding members along with myself. And it's open to new folks as well, like Darren, who I know outside of the Gauntlet, saw that there was an opening and joined in. This is a one shot of a hack of Monster of the Week. Monster of the Week is a really, really fun game where you play modern day supernatural monster hunters, like Hellboy meets the TV show Supernatural meets X-Files and all of the pastiches along there. It's a Powered by the Apocalypse game, and I've hacked it. I hacked it and called it Monster Squad because I think that as bad as that movie is, I still love it. So this is kind of Stranger Things meets Monster of the Week. That's the quick encapsulated pitch. Set in the 80s, the player characters are between 10 and 15 years old. Because this is a one shot, I'd prefer if you guys can like make your characters all in the same grade, if that's cool. I hadn't discussed that before, so probably should have mentioned that at the top, like before I started recording. But hey, surprise! Let me put that on you. So that is a thing. We're going to hit one mystery. And we have a few safety tools. We have lines against homophobia, sexual assault and violence, and sexual content. We have veils, which means it's okay if something shows up, but we'll fade to black. We'll quickly cut away from it. And that is veils on slavery, childhood abandonment, racism or speciesism, and torture. And then ask first, which means that it's situational. The chat before we introduce this content, we don't have anything in that line, but I'll try to keep my eye on that. Those are the things that have been filled in. On top of that, we have the X card, which is our last kind of break. If there's a thing that you didn't have on the lines and veils or you didn't realize would be problematic, but it is causing you some kind of, hey, this isn't super fun, say, hey, I need to X card a thing, drop it in chat. Hopefully I'll see it. If not, someone else make me aware of it. We'll pause play. I'll only check in to make sure that I understand what's been X carded. You don't have to defend yourself in any way. And it's excised from our play. No fuss, no muss. We'll, if we need to take a break, we'll just kind of make a judgment call. If it's a thing where it's enough, where it's maybe a quick break and play, we'll do that. Otherwise, we'll just come up with what's the thing we do other than that thing that was excised, and we continue on. So with all of that in mind, let's go around. Folks have created their monster squaddies, but this is the first introduction of them. So if you could, I'm going to start from the right-hand side of the character keeper and then move towards the left, having you introduce yourself. And then if you could tell us a bit about your monster squad character, which means Mark, you get to go first.
All right, I'm Mark. I use he, him pronouns. And today I am playing kid reporter Amanda Coleman, who is, what grade are we going to be in, guys? Eighth grade?
Eighth sounds good to me.
Eighth sounds good. All right, eight. Let's hear it for the eighth. Eighth grader at the local middle school. And she writes for the paper there. But her friend, Peter Ennis, has actually been talking about doing something called mm, online bulletin boards using computers. So maybe she's going to get the opportunity to post some of her work so that people other than at the school are going to be able to see it. So
Yeah.
thanks for that, Peter.
Somewhere where everyone in America who's online could get access to it.
That would be
Well, back
amazing.
well, at least everybody in town, because they're local bulletin boards.
That's
That's
right.
true. If it's a bulletin board, it's not going up.
And I'm sorry, I did not give Amanda's pronouns. Amanda uses she, her pronouns.
Fantastic. Cool. Thank you so very much, Mark. Mike, you're up next.
Hi, my name is Mike. My pronouns are he, him. Um, I've been playing with the Gauntlet for a couple of years now, and really looking forward to this. I will be playing Pete Ennis. He is a like science whiz, local like you know proud proud champion, proud winner of the science fair for the last 2 years. He's he's kind of a he's kind of a tall, lanky kid with kind of a shaggy haircut that his mom doesn't particularly approve of. And the reason he doesn't like his haircut is because he just really hates getting his hair cut. He doesn't want someone coming at him with a pair of scissors. It's just anyway. He is not known for his fashion sense. He basically wears whatever his mom puts out for him.
Very cool. Awesome. And then Darren, you are up.
Okay. Darren, he, him. Yeah, I've played a couple of games on Gauntlet. I've really enjoyed it so far. And really like playing with Rich. So today I will be playing Jude Bernaski, who is a meddling kid. He gets away with being a meddling kid because his parents are still hippies in the 1980s and are not terribly observant due to some of their social habits, we'll say. Yeah, he's a fairly smart, creative kid. Gets kind of mediocre grades though, because he's always out mucking around with this or that. Also, he used to be bullied, but that has kind of stopped now due to things like him booby trapping people's lockers. Their gym bags. Just various mishaps that seem to just happen to these people after they bully him. So he sort of like respected in a oh my god, that guy's scary sort of way at school. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So Darren, with Jude, since you went last, we'll do the snake order. Take a look down at the row 40, which is history. There's a list of different potential bonds, relationships, or histories that you have with the different squaddies. And just take a look at those. Are there any that you would like to ask either Mike or Mark if their characters would be interested in being that? So everything from you're related somehow to potential like friends or crushes, all that good stuff. Lots of history options. Any of those that tickle your brain?
I kind of see one.
Okay.
So this would be for Jude. The history was they came to you for advice, and your advice got them out of trouble. Ask them what the trouble was. So think you're the meddling kid. You came to the nerd. You did something. You came to the nerd for I don't know, Mr. John. I did this. I did this to Mr. Johnson. What can I do to make it right? And I was like, well, if you did this, and then he'd never know.
What do you think, Darren?
Does that sound good to you, Darren?
It sounds good. I was thinking maybe like Mr. Johnston mocked me in class, so then I, kind of put a glitter bomb in his desk, and you told me like something he likes that I could bond with him over to kind of soften the huge amount of trouble I was in.
Nice.
I love it. That's great.
Perfecto. Cool.
And then do I choose one or?
Yeah. Do you have one that you want to offer up? Yeah, you'll have two going out. One to Peter, one to Amanda. Then Mark, you'll choose two. One to Peter, one to Jude. We'll just kind of work all those out. And if we run to a stumbling block, we can leave one on the doorstep. That's okay.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking about maybe I respect Amanda's mystery solving skills. Just with her being the kid reporter, we're both sort of inclined to stick our noses in things. Me being the meddling kid, her being the kid reporter. So she would be someone I would like maybe phone for assistance on something. Does that sound okay, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Cool. And then you got some advice from Peter. Is there any bond that you wanted to point back at that character? Darren, for Jude? I think you're talking on mute, Darren. We can't
Oh
hear
my
you.
God, I am so sorry.
It's all good. Happens, man.
Yeah. When
Happens all the time.
When you saw your first monster, the squatty explained what was going on. So yeah, Peter explained to me what was going on. He used a lot of like scientific terminology I didn't quite understand, but yeah, he at least made it so that I could accept that these things were real and they're not so scary that a bunch of kids can't do something about it. I am trying to think of a good monster. I'm thinking maybe something like Swamp Thing. I'm not sure where our location is, but yeah.
Swamp Thing sounds hilarious and awesome. I love it.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool. And then, Mark, do you have one that you wanted to point towards the others? Let's see.
Yeah. So I think that I'm going to point. You met this squatty when they killed a monster you were doing a story on to Jude. Asked them what it was, and did. So that would be the swamp monster, maybe. So if I have it correct.
Ooh, nice.
Jude,
That'd
you
be
were
a
asking
cool,
about
like,
the swamp, Peter about the swamp monster. Cool. And then they're also nice. They're also good. And then I am also going to point this squatty saved your butt. You did something dumb toward Peter, and Peter will ask what you did. So maybe if you have a setup in mind, go for it. Otherwise, we'll lab here a little.
no, you're talking on mute, Mike.
Happens to all of us.
Yep,
Very common thing
it
on online
does.
gaming. Okay. Peter saved Amanda's butt when she did something dumb. What did she do? Okay, I'm gonna pull this from an actual YA novel from the 80s. As this, you as a school reporter, caught wind that, like, heard a rumor that like somebody in the school was misappropriating funds. So you did a low-tech 1980s bug in the principal's office, and they found the bug, but they couldn't. But they found the bug. Like, you like hit it. You hit a micro cassette recorder in a filing cabinet or something like that, and they found it. And they found it, but they found it. Oh, and let's say that the flip side of the cassette that was in there had like some notes that had like some voice recording that you had made, and they found it, but before they had a chance to play it, since I'm like the goody of the school, I knew that, you're like, oh my God, Peter, what did I do? Like, what do you do? I snuck in there, talked my way past the secretary, and recovered the tape.
Outstanding. I love that. Thank you.
Awesome. Feels like we got a good amount of
I got-
history. This swamp monster was a definite good history. Any other histories folks want to throw out, or are we good to jump in?
I think I need a hook toward Amanda. I'm going to say Amanda knows some of my dark secrets, and I'm just going to throw this out there because I've got this hideout that has like mystical information and such. I'm going to say that I'm going to say that my hideout is actually in my I'm going to say it's in my grandmother's basement. Can it is
That's
this
awesome.
okay for me to establish, Rich?
Sure.
Okay.
Grandmother's basement. All right.
Or I'm going to say I'm going to say, like, and I'm pulling from my own history here, in that I grew up in a house. I literally lived 3 doors down from my grandparents. And I'm going to say, let's say my grandmother had been some kind of occultist. She died. Um, um, she died, but all this stuff is there, and it's still in my grandfather's basement, and he's like, whatever, and he he just lets his grandson hang out down there, and he found all of his grandmother's like weird books and weird magic stuff that he's been poking around with, and he's been playing around with magic, and that he's been playing around with magic, and it's the 80s, it's the satanic panic. It would not be good if it came out that Peter, the goody student, was playing with devil stuff.
Love it.
Right. Good stuff. Real quick, Mike. So I wanted to talk about your hideout. So you've got a hideout, safe place to work, with a lore library, an armory, and a mystical library. So that gives you some bonuses on investigating mysteries and using magic or magic powers, as well as some weird items and accoutrement for fighting monsters. That's pretty wild. Do you think that was like grandfather's basement area, or where do you think it is?
I think this is. Yeah, I think this is. I think this was my. I think basically. I think I'm even imagining that this was like in the basement of my grandfather's house, and this was a. I'm gonna say that this is my grandmother's. This was my grandmother's like magic laboratory, but it was kind of hers, and I've kind of like unofficially inherited it. I'm gonna say my grandfather like knows she kept books down there, but isn't all that particularly interested. And he didn't know that she was involved in the occult at all.
Oh, wild. And then you guys asked her. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, and yeah, it's and it's this is and and it's. I can kind of come and go as I please to my grandfather's house because he trusts me, and sometimes I let my friends come in because it was the 80s, and
well, good. That's exactly where I was headed. It's like
you let your kids go out, and you let your kids run around.
Exactly. It's wild to think about how much time I spent completely unattended in the 80s.
God, yeah, me too. I mean,
no earthly idea.
I mean,
like,
do
you know where your son is?
My daughter's
He's fine.
Nope. I mean, honestly, I gotta tell you, I mean, my daughter's a junior in college now, and we kind of raised her that way, that she can kind of like, oh, you want to go out and play the woods down the okay, have fun, don't get lost.
All right. So let's roll in. Oh, if you guys could do me a quick favor, if you take a look, I don't know if how you have your view set up. I would recommend gallery view. I always find that to be pretty easy. But if you have it on gallery view, on your actual square screen, you can do the period of ellipsis, and then in the drop down, there's a ability to rename. And if you could stick in your character name, otherwise, what I'm going to do is look here. And if I see it's your name, I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna look over to my other screen so that because I want to start using your character names. I just find it fun and immersive. So if you could do that, that'd be helpful for me. And if not, that's okay. It's a one shot. It's fun. What am I gonna do? Penalize you XP? So let's get started. So you guys, you're let's see, what part of the United States do we want to be? Do we want to be on like the West Coast in some kind of summertime, beautiful Cali kind of middle school? Do we want to be? I definitely want to have like some woods. So I'm West or East Coast. Also Midwest near lakes, that kind of thing. Any of those three are fine with me. Thank you guys for doing the renames. I really appreciate it. Darren, do you have a thought on? We do have 3 people here from Minnesota. Maybe this needs to be set in Minnesota. Is that Kismet? Is that where we should go?
I don't think I can do that to Mike.
I don't know that much about.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I would be down with that, but yeah, I forgot where Mike is from.
I grew up in southern New Hampshire, and I live in rural central New York these days. So,
You know, that sounds interesting. New Hampshire,
central New York, New Hampshire.
Or-
Yeah, New Hampshire works.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, New Hampshire, fairly close to the coast. There are mountains, there are lakes, there are plenty of woods. I mean, I played in the woods a lot by myself when I was in the when I was a teenager.
Awesome. So you guys are somewhere in New Hampshire. I will now look for small towns in New Hampshire. Hanover. Hanover has 11,000 people. That sounds good. How's that sound?
Sure. I was, in all honesty, I was born in Hanover, New Hampshire.
Oh
No.
crap!
I didn't live there, but I
from...
was born. I didn't live there, but I didn't live there, but I was born there. That's where that's where Dartmouth College is.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
All right.
That's nice.
So
Let's keep
there
that.
we go. Dartmouth College. We went from not wanting to have it in Minnesota because 3 of us are there to the place where Mike was born. Amazing. Small world. All right. So Hanover, we'll say it's just Hanover Middle School. If anyone wants to throw out like Mark or Darren, if you guys have a mascot that you want to throw out for your middle school football team, because it's the 80s. So there's a little bit of soccer probably, but it's mostly like football and basketball is probably the big sports in the 80s, I would imagine, in New Hampshire. It is fall. It's the fall semester. So football is in full swing. Every Friday, all the folks of Hanover will be going to see the middle school team and then the high school team. They're 2 different. Imagine there's like the tiny track kind of area where the middle school plays football in the middle of the track, like they have the football and the field goals, and then there's an actual stadium for the high school where they play. Ooh, the Minutemen has been sent to me. I think the Hanover Minutemen sounds amazing.
Oh, and it was also like a type of missile in the 80s, so it could be like, pointing at the Cold War and the Revolutionary War.
Could be. Cool.
Sorry.
No, it's good. It's good. Awesome. So again, fall, leaves are falling. The woods is, of course, still thick woods. There are probably a good number of evergreens there, but doesn't look that dissimilar to what's behind Mike right now. So if you look at Peter Ingenis, you will see a bit of what it looks like out in the woods. And let's say that it is a Wednesday afternoon when Jude, Peter, and Amanda, the 3 of you, are going through the cafeteria line, there are these squares of burnt crusted something that you're told is lasagna. Of course, there are cups of jello, milk cartons with missing kids you've never seen before on the side, very small boxes of Fruit Loops that are silly in as far as how expensive they are. And then the salad bar, which sits untouched and forlorn to the side as each of you are those weird, like pre-formatted trays for the cafeteria. The lunch folks are like slapping the food on. So when we see Amanda, first of all, I imagine that this is not a school uniform, kind of middle school. So what is the first distinctive thing we see about Amanda's outfit, and what food is sitting on her tray?
I think Amanda, she does wear two pigtails with kind of bright yellow bows in them. She keeps a pencil tucked behind her ear, her right ear, actually her left ear. She's left-handed, and she's got what she calls her reporter's vest on her, which has a space for a like a steno pad, and some other little things that she likes to keep on herself so that she's ready to start a story whenever a story pops up. Um, Her tray is kind of, she tries to make sure things are evenly divided on the tray so that nothing is touching anything else. And she did, she has taken two of the Jello containers, and she got some carrot sticks in addition to the burnt the burnt pizza as the main entree. And she's moving through the line, but trying to keep alert in case something exciting is happening somewhere. She doesn't want to miss out on it.
Nice. And so she not only writes for the Minutemen, the Tadler, we want to call it the Tadler. Is that all right? So it's a middle school enough. So not only she write for the Tadler, she might be working on her first blog for some kind of bulletin board online to really stretch her reach. I love it. Yeah. So,
From as far away as Concord, New Hampshire, might actually be reading that.
oh my God, that's crazy. Concord. I mean, not everyone here
That's
has
the
even been to
state
Concord.
capital.
Cool. So, what about Jude? What is distinctive about Jude as he's moving slowly in the cafeteria line? Yeah, what do we see him wearing, or what stands out about him?
Well, let's see. Physically, his expertly disheveled hair with the gel in it. And yeah, he's wearing Guess jeans and like a trendy t-shirt. And he's one of the sole champions of the salad bar, because nobody goes there, so he can take like all the hard-boiled eggs and all the tons of croutons and all the green goddess dressing, So
pretty clever.
Yeah, that's what makes him happy there. And he declines the charred brick of lasagna ?
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And then as you head up, Jude, to pay for your meal, we see Peter bring up the rear. What's distinctive about Peter, a particular thing that he's wearing today that the camera, as we frame this like it is a made for TV movie, what would we pick up about him?
Okay, so so Peter is, he's pretty tall for a middle schooler, but he's really lanky. He's wearing a button down plaid Oxford shirt, and the top button is indeed buttoned. He's wearing tan chinos. Oh, and the sleeves on his shirt are a little short. as are the cuffs of his pants. Like he's probably just gone through his probably his final growth spurt. Oh, and he's wearing he's wearing blue Converse high tops.
Nice blue Converse high tops.
In his oh, and in his shirt pocket, there is in his shirt pocket there is a mechanical pencil and also an orange barreled Bic pen with the four different slide color selectors.
Classy.
And he is actually, even though he's in line for the cafeteria, he is wearing his backpack because
That's
he's
where all his
afraid
gear.
that he's afraid that he's afraid that if he left it in the if he left it by the seats, one of the bullies is going to mess with it because that's happened in the past.
Nice.
As for the food, as for the food, yeah, he basically he just kind of like goes through it, doesn't really, just kind of like lets the cafeteria like give him like, doesn't really ask for anything particular. They just he gets the lasagna, he gets the scoop of mashed potatoes, he gets the scoop of he gets a scoop of like corn niblets.
Oh yeah.
Gets the little thing and gets the little thing of gets the little container of Jello. Oh, and a chocolate milk.
Ooh, nice. A chocolate milk and then like a bright green in jello-y cubes there. The three of you, being an established crew, head towards your area on the long rows of tables. It's the kind of tables that can like be formed up and like everything, all the stools kind of hack together and they can move everything. It's gonna be an assembly area if need be.
I was going to say, it's the multi-purpose room. It's a
Exactly.
cafeteria, and it's the gym, and it's the assembly hall.
And of course, up against one wall, we have the giant clock that's behind some like metal grates because someone threw something at it before. Beside that is the traffic light, which is currently set at the yellow because if it goes to red, then everyone has to be quiet because you're getting too loud. The green means just go ahead and everything be normal. You guys haven't seen it in green in weeks because the din of this cafeteria is pretty much ever present. And so the three of you head towards your area that you always sit at, right? It's the best place because you've got a view of a couple of the windows. You can actually see outside a bit of the sunlight. It's far away from the popular clique because they're always cutting up and making fun of people. And unfortunately, Peter, as you're walking, Big Mike, the lineman for the Minutemen, star lineman, he's obviously going to be great in high school, probably has a chance at the pros, or so he tells everyone, has decided that you are the person he's going to flip your tray today. And so he comes wheeling around the end of the table as you're coming in to set everything down, and he does the gesture, like flips everything up. Peter, when you see this coming, what do you do?
I know what's coming. I can tell he's gonna do the tray flip. He's gonna try to make everything. He's going to try to make a big fuss. So like, okay, again, this time I'm ready for him. Because this time I'm ready for him. So when he comes to flip the tray, I know it's coming. I know what he's about to do. I'm going to hang on tightly to one corner so that when he flips to like the corner of it that's facing him, so that when he I'm going to shift my grip on the tray. So when he tries to flip my tray up, like my finger, like my hand is the fulcrum. So when he flips the tray up, the food goes right at him.
Ooh, that sounds pretty clever. I think let's have you act under pressure to see if you can pull that off. So when you act under pressure, you roll plus cool. Hopefully you saw in the chat, I dropped the roller. So if you want, I can relink you if you need me to. It's no
Nope,
problem.
I got it.
All right.
So I am going to
And what So Darren, Mark, you guys have both used this roller before. Okay, you haven't. You haven't, Mark. No problems. When we get to a roll, I'll show you real quick how it goes. I like it a lot, but it does take a minute to kind of go. Wait, where did the things go?
Yep.
So
And this was
you're rolling plus cool, and your cool is a
It's
1.
1.
Now, if anyone, if anyone wants to help, you can try to help. You saw this coming as well, Amanda and Jude. Or you can, make the smart play and let this play out between Peter and Big Mike.
I'm totally going to intervene.
Sweet.
I'm going to totally help Mike. So how do I do the help maneuver?
You bet.
So I was gonna say, yeah. So I got it. So I got a 7.
Oh, you did get a 7?
6 plus 1 is 7.
Ah.
Yeah, I rolled 6 plus 1 is 7.
Hold on. You rolled 2d6.
Wait, did I not do this right?
Yeah, you roll 2d6. Go ahead and keep that 1 6. So you got a 7, but you can get a second die. Looks like Amanda, you had rolled a 5, but I think you were just testing it out. So
I was just testing it out. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. So just roll one more d6. We'll add that
I've
to
not
your
used
6.
this. I was gonna say, I'm
me-
sorry, I've not used this die roller before. Did I do it wrong or?
You didn't do it wrong. You just only rolled 1d6. So the way that I use this thing is if I'm going to roll 2d6, I'll just type in a 2 in the number and that turns it to white. So hopefully that's easier to see. So there's your number of d6. And then if you've got a modifier of like a 1 or a 2 or whatever, you just enter that number. If you have it as a minus modifier, you do it like that. And then you can name it, like help.
Got it.
And then you click roll the dice. Don't click flip a coin, even though you think, oh, that's at the bottom, because that'll just flip a coin. Roll the dice, and then it will show you the 2 different dice. I got a 4 and a 4. My roll modifier is a 2, so my total is a 10. This gear icon gives you the ability to either add the dice or not add the dice, but we do want to add the dice in this particular game. And the cool thing is it saves your roll, so you can check back later in case you're like, man, I've missed every single roll. You can see for sure. Did you actually miss every single roll, or did it just feel like it?
Okay, I didn't do it right. So let's.
Cool. So just roll one more d6, no modifier, Mike. Or if you've got a d6 by yourself, that's okay too. If it's if you're running any trouble with the die roller, I don't want it to hold up play. It's no big.
Got it. Okay, I'm just gonna roll. Just gonna do one more d6, and I'll add that to the 6 I rolled. Did I not do that right again?
That time you rolled 2d6. So we'll just take the leftmost one. We'll add that in. Okay. So you had rolled a 7 plus 1 more, makes it an 8. Just because we're on a short time frame, we'll just say you've got that mixed result. You can do this. Mike will catch some of it, but you're going to get a bit too, which means it's going to fall on your beautiful blue Converse high tops if that happens. Or you can bail and just take it in the shirt. The nice buttoned up shirt gets all the guff, and Big Mike doesn't get any mess on him. Which way do you want it to go?
I'm gonna go. I go into the woods with these shoes. They get scuffed up. I'm okay with him. I'm okay with Big Mike getting some of the food and a little bit getting on my shoes. I'm fine with that.
Man, and so the Jello goes up, and we've got chocolate milk that hits your shoes, but man, a lot of it, like a faceful, because of that fulcrum trick that you pulled, gets on Big Mike. And he has the audacity to try to play this off like you dumped your tray on him, and he starts getting in your face. Of course, the teacher's quickly walking away. Let's say that it's Mr. Johnston, who I've stuck in our NPCs tab there because we all need a Mr. Johnston in our lives. Jude, that's the guy you glitter bombed. So Mr. Johnston is quickly waddling his way over to interrupt as Big Mike is saying, "What are you doing, man?" And he's about to shove you down. Amanda, you see this? Big Mike's tells. He's gonna try to punch Peter if you don't do something. Amanda, what do you do?
So I am going to try to help him out, and let's see. This is probably I'm going to. Is it act under pressure if I try to put myself between Peter and a Big
There's
Mike.
actually a move perfectly for this called Protect Somebody. It's a little bit down on the leftmost column. When
Perfect.
you prevent harm to another character, roll plus tough.
Okay. So let's see what my tough is. I think it is -1.
Tough is a -1.
No. So it will accept the -1 modifier, right?
Should.
Type it in, yeah. Okay.
Has passed in the past.
Okay, so 2d6 -1, so a total of 6, which is a miss, right?
It
miss.
is a miss. The good news is this is XP on a fail. So Amanda, you're like trying to intercede yourself in the middle of this,
I'm trying, yeah, so that in the end, Mike punches a girl.
which exactly he does. That's the misc edition. Is yeah, you catch a fist from Big Mike right as Mr. Johnston is coming up. He hits you right in the nose. Your eyes immediately start to water. Your whole face is like stinging pain. Like, maybe it's good that you hadn't eaten yet, because man, this is the kind of thing to make somebody lose their lunch. Jude, you just saw Big Mike punch Amanda. What do, Jude, as you see that? And the whole cafeteria like drops silent at this. Big Mike just punched a girl. What do you do, Jude?
So Mr. Johnston is already on his way, right?
Yeah, he's gonna grab Big Mike in seconds, but
Oh yeah, no. Jude is already planning what's going to happen to Big Mike later. Yeah, this is probably going to warrant like a dog poop, possibly dog poop explosion in Big Mike's locker. Or, possibly, some grease in the boys' locker room in an appropriate spot, something like that. He's
so
gonna have to
that's
pay.
what we see is just you dreaming. Like there's a moment where we see all of the different ways that you're dreaming of taking down Big Mike with various pranks and traps.
I think it's kind of like those scenes in the Terminator where there's like the menus scrolling. It's like dog poop, exploding dog poop, grease trap in locker room.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, whoopee cushion with tacks. All that kind of stuff.
Sweet. Mr. Johnston grabs Big Mike by the arm and pulls him away. Good God, son, what are you doing? How could you dare hit a girl?
And
Amanda, are you all right?
Shout,
you need to see the nurse.
I shout, you punched a girl. I
Nice.
shout.
Yeah, and I think everyone is just agog. And then we hear the sound of a Polaroid as Sebastian Spender, your cameraman, Amanda, has taken a priceless photo of this moment. He didn't catch the punch, but he's got the aftermath, and he starts like quickly flipping the photo, trying to get it to develop as quickly as possible. And Mr. Johnston, he looks to you, Amanda, and he says, I'm going to escort Michael here to the office. Do you need someone to take you to the nurse, Amanda?
I can do that, sir.
Okay.
All right. Jude, Peter, escort Amanda to the office, please. And Amanda, by the way, you did take one harm.
Yeah.
So, that's a thing.
Amanda says, thank you. And Spender, that's going in next week's edition.
I grabbed some paper napkins off of the table, and I'm probably taking them from some of the other kids who saw this, and I'm like handing them to Amanda so that she can stanch the bleeding that's probably about to start pouring out of her nose.
Oh yeah. You're already seeing some red on the napkin. It still hurts. Like, baby. No, surely they won't make you wear one of those things. Like, oh, sure, it didn't break that. No, it's okay. And your teeth hurt a little bit. You think that maybe you cut your lip? Maybe it sucks. And so the three of you Pete, your shoes are squeaking a little bit because of the chocolate milk, but the rest of you's generally okay. You make your way down the hall towards the nurse's office. Now, this
I would
hall.
like to.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I just want to make a pit stop at Mike's locker. This is just sort of a prelude to what's going to come next. But I've got my really ripe sardines in a plastic container, and they're going to go in through the air vent. And then I'll sort of use a napkin to wipe up the sardine juice that got on the front of the locker during the process.
Firing
So
warning shot.
yeah,
I
hopefully,
see.
hopefully he'll not go to his locker soon, and it'll be the full sardine experience when he gets there.
Nice. Is Jude used to like opening, or is it a thing where you sliding sardines in, or do you try to open the lock?
Oh no, this is just through the vents job.
Smart. No, not even a roll. And there's no one in the hallway. You're just like sliding sardines in the vent. Is going to drop down in on whatever various pictures of the Dallas Cowboys and a few cowgirl cheerleaders that he's got pasted in on the inside of his locker. Tony Dorsett, Roger Staubach, all of America's team in the 80s there. And Sardine Experience is my Husker Du cover band. That's great. Amanda and Peter, the two of you are nearing the nurse's office. We see the little, red cross. There are a set of windows on this part of the hallway that look out over the teacher's parking lot. And as you're both headed towards the nurse's office, you both see this like black shape drop down from the roof of the school and land on top of, got to glance over to grab the name. We're going to say Mrs. Booth's Ford Escort. What do you do when you see that shape move? You're right by the nurse's office.
Oh,
Immediately, like the bloody nose is just like gone from Mandy's mind, and so blood is just coursing down now on and getting all over her shirt. But she like rushes to the window and she's like, Pete, did you see that?
I do. I'm gonna reach into my backpack and I'm gonna pull out a pair of fairly low power binoculars that do I need to roll? Do I need to roll to have that? Because I have the.
No, you got it. You have your backpack. It's all good. Yeah, that's totally a thing.
It's I pull. They're only like 8x40 binoculars, but they're binoculars. They're binoculars. So
it's a gorilla. It's a silverback gorilla.
What the?
And you see it kind of creeps off of the Escort, and you see it kind of moving around, and it moves over and it flips open the dumpster because it's a big honking gorilla. And it flips open the dumpster, and you see it kind of look into the dumpster, and it's looking around and sniffs the air. Jude, you catch up to them. Your sardine mission is complete and successful. They're staring out the window, ignoring the nurse's office.
Do you see that? We point toward the dumpster.
Wow, it's hard not to. I'm having trouble loading the NPCs. Which one is Mrs. Booth?
Mrs. Booth, she's just a teacher at your school and the mother of Franklin, who is one of the sharper kids. Like, he gives Peter a run for his money when it comes to the spelling bee.
Oh, okay. The one teacher with brown hair and glasses, I was thinking is Jude's really severe boyhood crush.
Oh yeah, nice. She's crushing him for sure.
But yeah, he's just like, yeah, that's a really huge gorilla. I don't know what we do about that. I mean, not weird
Yeah.
enough, I think, where we couldn't just tell some adults.
Then you see three like moving. You see it like through one of the cars. We'll say that like somebody has a vintage gremlin. And you see these three things move, and it's like these curled tails. And then from behind them, you see these three long tail monkeys, and they're like moving together as a group, and they like move up to the gorilla, and these four simians just look at each other, and then they start loping off away from the parking lot off towards there's like a little picnicky table and one of those giant metal poles with a tether ball on it type deal and a jungle gym off to the side. What do you do?
Was there a circus in town? Did these animals escape from the circus?
We don't have a zoo here. I don't understand.
I didn't see any flyers about a circus in town. I mean, we don't have a zoo.
Okay, I've got an idea. So do you think we can convince the nurse to send Amanda home?
Totally.
And we need to walk her home, right?
We can certainly give that a shot and check out these animals and maybe I don't know if we can get word to your cameraman. We could maybe get some photos.
Yeah, and I'm kind of worried if we just tell these adults about this. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just but I'm a little worried about going out with that gorilla.
Yeah, I hear you. Although I don't want I don't want the cops to just shoot him or something, So maybe we can come up with a creative way to get him to get out of town and stop denting people's cars.
If we got photos of the gorilla, that would be a huge scoop.
Totally.
You might even scoop the Hanover Gazette, which is I don't know if it's for real, but that's the actual daily newspaper.
Which has a very high publication because that's how you get your news in the 80s. Awesome. So just because I love this conversation happening as you guys, as the gorilla and those monkeys, those long-tailed monkeys kind of go off into the woods, and maybe it kind of follows forward into walking on the sidewalk. So Amanda, you succeeded in kiboshing the nurse to convince her that you need to be sent home. What was the sales, the closer that you pulled off, Amanda?
So the thing about Amanda is that she has truthiness. So when she talks to someone, she could convince them that what is happening is the truth.
Mhm.
And basically, she says that, I'm keeping it very simple, she has such a horrible headache that she can't concentrate now, and that she thinks she should probably go home and watch some Gilligan's Island and lay down.
And Nurse Kravitz is like, oh, absolutely.
If I could add, but I don't want to trouble my mom at work, and so maybe my friends could help me home.
Yeah, exactly. So it would be best if these guys could just walk me home, because I feel like standing upright is a good idea, and sitting down would probably be really bad.
And she doesn't feel safe after that animal attacked her like that.
True.
Animal attack?
That gigantic gorilla line person for the.
Oh, I thought you meant an actual gorilla. Oh my goodness.
No, ma'am. I'm just referring to Big Mike as an animal. Forgive me. Yeah.
Well, he's a real jerk.
Wow.
What kind of a jerk goes around punching girls?
I can't believe this has happened to you, Amanda. You go home now, and Peter and Jude, make sure that she gets home safe, okay? I'm going to send a note up to the office and make sure that your parents get a call so they can take you to the doctor if need be, Amanda. And I'm pretty sure you probably won't need a brace for your nose.
Oh yeah, if everybody's parents are at work, they can come to my house. So I've got a key.
Okay.
And you let my parents know that might happen, and their parents, would that be okay?
I'll start the phone tree.
Thank you.
So
You're
then
so
you guys,
helpful.
the gorilla, the monkeys are gone by the time you guys walk out of the nurse's office. If you want to walk home, you can. But if that was just a ruse to get out of school, then Jude, where do you want them to go? Where do you want to go?
I would like to at least look around in the direction that I saw the ape and the monkeys go.
Okay, cool. Sounds like maybe you're trying to investigate a mystery.
You are correct, sir. Let me review the questions.
Okay. You need to roll plus sharp.
Sorry. Let's see here.
If it's easier for me to drop those questions into the chat because you're having some trouble with the Google sheet, let me know.
Oh,
All right. Investigate a monkey is a great name for your role. You got one question. You can either use that from the investigate a mystery or the alternate investigate if that makes more sense.
yeah. Could you show me the alternate ones again? I'm not sure what
You
they
bet.
went. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's right underneath the investigate a mystery. I'll drop all those in chat for you. Here's the core ones.
Sorry.
That's all right. And then here is the alternate. So I'll just put a title of alt. There you go. Hopefully that helps.
I think I want to go with what is being concealed here?
What is being concealed here? So, you come out, Amanda, Peter, Jude, you guys kind of skulk about the teacher's parking lot, and like these monkeys are passing through. You don't see any spoor. You don't see where they were hanging out. What's being concealed here? They're searching for something. Peter, maybe you relay that bit of info to Jude about the silverback gorilla looking into the dumpster, but it's obvious that these monkeys are hunting for something or searching for something, trying to find something, and they just moved on. So, Amanda, what do you do?
First thing that Amanda wanted to do was roll minor celebrity, but it's a miss. So she does not get any of those hold options.
Oh, such a cool move. Perfect time to pull it out, but it turns out.
I know.
We didn't do that at the beginning of the mystery either. I'm sorry about that.
Well, that's
should've-
okay. I mean, I considered this to be kind of the beginning of the mystery.
Yeah,
so
that's true. This is.
Can you do luck with that?
You can if you want to burn a luck. Thank you for that reminder, Darren.
Yeah, let's do that.
Mechanics.
So I'm going to go and change my luck from 3 to 2.
Cool.
And thank you very much.
Awesome. You know what? We just had a request for a quick bio, so let's just take a few minutes until the top of the hour. So 7 minutes. See you guys in a few. All right. So the minor celebrity, you had decided wisely to go ahead and spend a luck. Now, on row 16 of the character keepers, each playbook has a luck, kind of a luck move when you spend luck. So whenever you spend a luck as the kid reporter, You're going to have technical difficulties, breakdowns, communication problems, and weird noises in the recordings, etc. So I'll try to mix that in. But you effectively get a 10 plus on minor celebrity, which means you hold 2. Spend your hold during the mystery to have someone you meet know of you in a positive light. Maybe they read your articles in the school paper, heard you on the radio, read your zine, a public access TV show, whatever. You may end up getting asked for autographs or given hot leads, etc. So you spend that. Did you want to spend a hold here, Amanda, as you guys are researching this area, the parking lot?
So just to clarify, does spinning the hold then produce a person who is going to know something, or is it if we meet a person then I can spend the hold to
It can
get that
produce
effect?
someone, especially for a one shot. So you
Okay,
don't have
yeah.
to hold that trigger, hold on to
right.
that. You can say, yeah, there's somebody around here and they happen to know me. That's
Yes.
totally cool if you want to spin that hold.
That's what
Awesome.
we're doing.
Let's say, let's say that Robert Ellington, Bailey's dad. Bailey's the oldest kid in your middle school. She's been held back a couple grades. She's always in trouble. She's a little bit of a criminal, but also a bit of an underachiever. Her dad owns the junkyard. And we'll say that as you guys are looking around, his big hauler comes kind of rolling through, and he reaches over on the passenger side and rolls down because, everybody's got manual. It's the 80s, buddy. So he rolls down the window and looks out and says, "Hey, you're Amanda Coleman, right?"
That's right, I am.
Yeah, my daughter brings home the paper. I read your stuff all the time. You're a sharp little kid.
Thank you.
What are you guys doing? What happened to your face? Are you okay? I've got a first aid kit. He kind of reaches over into his glove box and opens up and pulls out like he legitimately has a first aid kit.
Nope, I'm okay. Football player just punched me.
Wow. And he
Yeah.
looks to you, Jude and Peter, and says, "Did you kick that kid's ass?"
I have plans for him.
No. He did it right in front of a teacher. So what we can do with him is like what the principal's going to do to him is going to be way worse than what we could do to him.
Oh, I disagree with you, Peter, but that too.
Peter shrugs. I have plans for him. Oh, Darren, that's hilarious. That's like so threatening.
Cool.
So we're trying to find some. We saw I swear we saw some wild creatures running through here toward the forest.
Like zoo animals.
It was really weird.
Closest zoos. No, there's no zoo around here. What kind of animals did you kids see?
It was like a gorilla and some
And 3 monkeys.
Yeah. It was a gorilla and 3 monkeys.
And this is where Amanda, you've heard about Mr. Ellington, who owns the junkyard and is a Vietnam War veteran and also is prepared for the end times and all of that it entails. North Star R&D, that lab up in the woods. I heard they went around buying up animals for testing.
You don't think these animals could have escaped from that facility?
Maybe so. There are a bunch of wild monkeys running around. You kids shouldn't be out here. You want me to give you a ride home or something?
No.
We'll be fine. We don't want to trouble you.
Besides, I was told that I should continue to stand upright due to my nosebleeds. My nose bleeding.
All right. Well, you kids be careful, and well, can't really trust the cops. So
I don't want the cops to shoot those animals.
listen. Don't you dare tell the administration, but if you get in a lot of trouble, Bailey does have a gun. He nods and then he puts his big truck back and drives. Has one of those real loud sounds from that he pulls away.
Oh, if this is the 80s, could this be like this is a truck from like the late 70s? It's got a manual shift on the steering column.
Oh, totally. Yeah, that's what we're on the same wavelength, man. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So what do you want to do?
Three on the tree. Heard that referred to as 3 on the tree.
3 on the tree. Yeah.
3 on the tree. 4 on the floor. 3 on the tree.
Do you guys know how to get to North Star R&D?
Let's see, I've got. North Star R&D. I'm going to ask this to the GM. Is this the sort of thing that we would know or not know, or would this be a move? Or
that's a great question. So I think as the nerd, you might be aware of North Star R&D. It's a research company that's here in town. But you also,
I've got the.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it's the mechanics don't actually apply, but I do have the I've read about that sort of thing move, which normally lets you roll plus sharp instead of, which I forgot about when we had the altercation, but it's lets you roll plus sharp instead of plus cool because you know stuff, but but yeah, would I know about it, or would I want me to roll on something? Or
you know what, as the nerd, here's what you know. You know that there was an article when North Star R&D first came to town that you read. Wasn't in the local paper. It was actually in one of the science magazines that you happen on, maybe Discovery, about, and I'll drop the name in, Dr. Natalie Soames, Soames. And she was in the 60s famed for working with dolphins to detect mines and to complete complex underwater tasks. And she came to North Star R&D, and there was an article in Discovery about how she was going to be furthering her research, which, by the way, was like decades old, but furthering that research, and North Star was hoping to come up with some new assistive technologies through highly trained animals. And I have a picture of Dr. Soames down on row 17 of the NPCs and places.
so I guess the question is, do we want to follow the animals into the woods to see where they went, or do we want to check out North Star research? I'd be, like looking into the woods, looking up at the sky, and it's probably late afternoon. It's at this point, it's probably like mid to late afternoon. It's fall, so it's going to get dark kind of early. Maybe we should check out Maybe we should check out the research place rather than try to track the animals. But
Yeah.
if you two want to go in the woods, I'm with you.
Well, yeah, I think it's going to be easier to locate that than to try to catch up with the animals.
Oh, yeah, I'm just worried, like, I don't want to lead a trail to these animals. I don't want to give, like, North Star any leads on where these animals are. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll just have to be careful.
Part of the question, I think, is what were those animals looking for?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I wish I knew.
Me too. Hey, before we go any further, how far from the school are we? Are we close enough that we could go check back in that dumpster? Wait,
You can
there was nothing
totally
in the
go back
dumpster.
in and check in the dumpster if you would like.
He didn't find anything in the dumpster.
He didn't find
I
anything.
was going to say the gorilla didn't find anything, so what it was looking for wasn't in there. I don't particularly want to go poking through the trash.
Yeah, I know. All right. Let's head for North Star R&D. Are we going to need to get a ride, Rich?
It's far enough away where you would need a ride, unless you want to be kids on bikes. By the way, I didn't put this in your gear, but it's kids on bikes, so you all have bikes. You all have bikes.
Hanover is not a particularly big town, although it is pretty hilly. But yeah, let's bike over there.
Do we need to stop and pick anything up from the hideout?
Not a bad idea. You never know what we might find, because I'm guessing I'm not carrying my weapons to school, even though in the
Probably
80s you
wise.
might have been able to get away with some that you can't
A
get away with
pocket
now.
knife, sure.
True.
Pocket knife, sure. A mallet and wooden stakes, because you never know when you might encounter Draculas.
Less
Maybe not.
less okay. Yeah.
And one of the things I have is my grandmother's magic dagger. Yeah, I'm not bringing that to school, but maybe I should bring that with us.
Awesome. So the three, by the way, Jude, did you bike to school? Do you take the bus to school, or did one of your parents drop you off at school?
Yeah, I think maybe biking to school would be doable.
Does anybody not bike to school that would have to like piggyback with one of the others?
Probably biking to school would be fine. I was thinking that I was thinking Peter might even live walking distance, but having your bike is better because it's faster.
Cool.
As long as figurative gorillas like Big Mike don't mess with your bike.
As long as they don't. So the three of you bike back, and Amanda getting treated by the nurse, wearing those terrible cotton balls up your nostrils. The harm has passed, because that harm will heal with time. You get back to Peter's grandparents' house, and I'm imagining it's like a colonial, like older colonial is what I imagine.
yeah.
It's like a big basement. And
got a big full basement, and we don't even necessarily have to go in through the front door, because there's like one of those like bulkhead, like steel bulkhead doors that are on a 45-degree angle, and we just kind of like walk around back, and they're padlocked, but I have a key. Open it up. We just walk right in.
Sweet. So you guys head down the stairs, and Peter, you're grabbing some of your materials, your monster hunting deal. I'm imagining this is one of those like built-in workbench type deal, lots of built-in cabinets for tools and all that stuff.
Yeah,
that you're
like a built-in bookshelf.
Nice.
with like an extensive occult library.
Oh, okay. So this isn't like a bunch of stuff is stored down here. There's like a good bit of this basement that was dedicated to grandmother's work.
I'm thinking there was like a dedicated. I was thinking that she had a room in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not. So I'm thinking that like that's, I'm kind of actually imagining my grandfather's house here, who had
Okay.
who had
I
kind
haven't
of a
been to your
side
grandfather's
room.
house, so I appreciate
Well, I
you
know that.
describing it.
I know that. So there's so yeah, there's it's got two concrete walls, but then two wooden walls.
Okay.
And the wooden walls had the wooden walls have some have like bookshelves that were built into it. There's like a big wooden workbench that has like a bunch of like half looks like chemistry set, half looks like like early 20th century like electrical stuff, like something that Nikola Tesla might have. Just
Wild.
like weird old like pseudoscientific stuff.
Nice.
But he opens up one of the drawer in one of the and he opens up the drawer in one of the like the bottom drawer of the workbench, takes out pulls out a it's like a bakelite case, sets it on, flips the things, open it up, and it's an inside, it's velvet lined, and inside is a silver dagger with a fine leather sheath. And he takes that off. He kind of unbuckles his belt, slips the dagger on his belt, pulls his. It's also getting a little cool. So he from a hook, he pulls off a wool cardigan, a brown wool cardigan sweater, and puts it on and buttons it down.
Nice. As Peter is grabbing his stuff, Amanda, Jude, I guess you guys, you've been here before, right? So, Jude, how do you normally pass the time when Peter is nerding out on all of his? Do you like look around? Is there a book that you play with? What do you do, Jude?
Oh yeah, yeah. You usually pick a book and look through it. There's probably some pretty amazing stuff here book wise. So.
Oh yeah, leather-bound tomes. Some.
And I'm thinking, and in addition to my grandmother's stuff, I'm thinking there's probably also I probably keep my comic books and like sci-fi novels and Dungeons and Dragons books down here too.
Nice. Amanda, as you're down here and Jude's grabbed a book off the wall, Peter is hard at work gathering all of his things. You get the distinct feeling that you're being watched. What do you do?
I think Amanda is going to be like really subtle about it and not going to give away that she knows that they're being watched, and nonchalantly kind of walk around the room, pick some things up, put some things down, and trying to get an idea of where this person is that is spying on them, or what it is that is spying on them and where it is.
Nice. Why don't you read a scary situation? Does that feel appropriate here?
Perfect. So
You'll be rolling plus sharp. Your sharp is a 2. You are very sharp. Oh man, now I want to get my dog over here.
Hey, wait a second.
Say my cat literally just hopped up in my lap.
All right, an 8. I'm not
Okay,
having...
you get one question from the list.
Okay, so I get to use the list that is the...
It's column B, starts
situation.
around row 34.
So read a scary situation, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So in, out. I guess the most appropriate one is probably, are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
So you're moving around and you kind of have to walk around a couple stacks of books, which per Ghostbusters is, of course, extremely spooky. That's why I put it there. And you see it. It's not a person, so that it took a moment. But hiding in one of the little cabinets at the base, at first, you think you see a pair of cat's eyes, but when you get closer, you see that it's like a little monkey. And it hasn't, like it's totally paying attention to Peter right now. There are 2 things you notice about it. The first one is that it doesn't look aggressive. It actually looks frightened. And the second thing that you notice from your vantage point as you're looking at the side of its head is that there's this little shaved area right behind its ear. And you see a little light, like an indicator light, like a little red light, and this antenna is coming up out of its head. And it looks like it reminds you of Lobot, really. from Star Wars, because it's
Yeah.
like been implanted in the poor little thing's head. And it's watching Peter and it's watching Jude a little bit, but Jude's just reading a book, so that's a little less scary, but definitely pretty scared of all those weapons that Peter pulled out. And I'm dropping into the NPCs and places just so you have an idea of the monkey. It is at D17. It is a spider monkey, known because of their prehensile tails and the ability that they almost look like they have 5 limbs when they're up in trees. What
Now,
do you do, Amanda?
does this appear to be one of the same, or at least very similar to the monkeys that we saw racing across the parking lot?
It does.
Okay.
But those ones you didn't get a great look, but they didn't look
Right.
like they had honking antennas sticking out of their heads.
They did not. Okay. So I think that Amanda is going to reach into her backpack, and she has a little sandwich baggie of some Ritz crackers in there, and she'll pull that out and sit down. And she's holding out the Ritz crackers, and she says to Peter and Jude, "Hey, we've got one of those little guys with us in here. He's pretty scared though." And then I look in the direction of Spider Monkey so that they can see what I'm looking at.
Oh, wow. No way. Oh, you know what? They like bananas. And Jude pulls a banana flip out of his bag of snacks.
Oh,
That's awesome.
that is great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. At that, when Amanda says that, Peter freezes in what he's doing, just kind of slowly looks in that direction.
Nice.
And then there's a freaking monkey in my grandfather's basement.
It seems to perk up, Jude, when you say it likes bananas, and you pull out the banana flips, and it hops down out of the little cabinet that it was hiding in, and very cautiously, it's a male. It's not wearing diapers or anything. The only thing that looks unnatural about it is the weird little antenna, which all of you now see. But it will creep closer to you, Jude. The one thing you notice, though, Peter and Amanda, you both would pick this up. It has, Peter, one of your steno pads clutched in its hand. And it comes up and it looks up at you, Jude. It just reaches a little hand up, like it will definitely be interested in a banana nip. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm gonna, let it grab the banana flip, and I'm gonna say yeah, you want to trade? And I'll sort of point at its at the steno pad it's gripping. Can I see that? Come on, buddy.
I want to see you charm it. Let's
see
if you can charm somebody or trick somebody, as I've called it. So let's have you roll plus charm. Your charm is a +2. You are really charming, Jude.
Oh boy, that's a 5.
So you want to help, because it looks like things are roll. The little monkeys start to move away.
I was not able to see my luck move on my sheet, Rich.
Okay. I'm happy to tell you, if you want to burn that luck, when you spend a luck point, you see something you weren't supposed to. It might help your investigation, or it might just be scary.
Sounds good. I'll do it.
Sweet. So burning a luck point is great, means nobody needs to help. And yes, there is a swap. You hand the banana. Is it a flip? You said a banana flip?
Oh yeah, Banana Flip is a horrifying confectionery from the 80s.
Oh man, that's
I,
so
I
good.
had never heard of such
Oh
a
my
thing.
goodness!
I just looked it up.
Yeah, that looks like an 80s like pure sugar confectionery. Awesome. Yes.
It looks like a
This
taco-shaped banana-flavored Twinkie.
this spider monkey is into banana flips, and it wholly happily does the trade. And you see it quickly like opens up the plastic and starts munching around on it. And when you take that stenopad, Jude, you see that like the pages have been written on. And the first thing you open up to is you see a drawing. Now, do you imagine that Jude knows anything about North Star R&D? Is that a thing that would interest him?
I think so, because he's meddlesome, and that place is just kind of weird and nebulous.
Yeah. So there's a drawing, crude, but a drawing of what looks to you like North Star R&D, from the chain link fence and the razor wire over top. And then there's the next page. You see, and we'll say Amanda, Peter, you guys can like look over Jude's shoulder. You're totally able to see this too. You see that there's a tower. You don't recognize Jude from the time that maybe you went to North Star and snooped around at one point, but this looks newer. It looks like some kind of radio tower, right? And you also see these like, you see the silverback gorilla, that this monkey or is walking around with a stenopad of the silverback gorilla, looks like that. And yeah, it just looks like there are maybe half dozen drawings of like different monkeys. And then there's a picture, there's a drawing of here, actually, of rough impression of this basement.
Are you sharing this? Are you sharing the what you see in the stenopad with the rest of us, or?
Yeah, I'm trying not to like freak out our new friends, so I'm just sort of like gently flipping the pages and holding them up. And saying, yeah, look at this. And then I'm kind of looking at the monkey here and there just to see how he's doing.
Hey, little.
He likes it. And he kind of hops up and down a little bit because of the sugar rush.
Yep, they like bananas.
Hey, little guy. Did you draw that? Not knowing if this thing can actually communicate or not, but I'm giving it a try.
So I want to ask, would Peter know sign language?
I think maybe he might know a little. I mean, I don't
Cool.
think he's conversant in ASL, but I think Peter would be the kind of kid that would have been interested.
Would he have a book, maybe?
He did. There's a sign language merit badge for Boy Scouts, or at least there was, where you basically had to learn some of the really basic signs and how to sign the alphabet.
Okay, cool, awesome. So yes, this monkey quickly signs yes and nods its head. And Amanda, Jude, if either of you feel like your character would have like what you can make up backstory, totally cool with me. But if you think that your character knows sign language, that's totally cool. But it quickly starts signing just the alphabet. Realize kind of maybe not sure how best to communicate, but you see it signs out ROLA several times in a row.
And then Rolla? Your name is Rolla? Peter? Jude? Amanda?
Peter, do you know how to say friend?
I sign in letters friend. I gesture and I sign in
Yeah.
letters. I just spell out the word friends.
Rolla signs it right back at you and then does like this other sign that is like the general whole word of friend and points to all of you and then to himself.
Okay, I think we need to destroy this radio tower because we got free Rolo here. Yeah, he can live with me if he has to.
Were you? You know, so I point at the drawing of the North Star facility, and I spell out good place or bad place.
And bad place. It's a quick head shake, bad place, bad place. And then Rolla like reaches for the steno pad
Okay.
and Rolla will
Hand it back.
plop down the steno pad and flip the page to the tower and points to the tower and points to their head.
Okay. I was going to say like, wait a minute. And Peter like runs, Peter runs upstairs and you hear him like rummaging around upstairs. And like a couple of minutes later, he comes back down with that copy of Discover magazine from like 2 years ago, because he's the kind of kid that doesn't throw magazines away because you never know when they might come in handy. He comes back down with that copy of Discover magazine that had the article about what was her name, Dr.
Soames.
Dr. Soames. So I put down the magazine and I flip to the article about her, and I
As
point
soon
to
as Rolla sees the picture of Dr. Soames, he like scampers away from the article and goes into a little corner of the area and just shivers and tries to hide.
Okay, so I close the magazine and I kind of like roll it up and I like stick it in the corner, like okay. So I sign again I spell out Dr. Soames bad ?
Bad. Does the spells it out and then does the hand gesture for bad and a few other gestures that are less complimentary.
So it sounds so I look to my friends like looks like North Star is doing some really horrific animal research on these poor creatures.
An amazing
Poor
story.
little Rolla here, and what's the what's up with that implant?
This is totally going to go all the way to the New York Times. And I'm the reporter who broke this story. You guys will also be included in the byline. This is amazing.
I was going to say I don't have a cool camera, but and I open up one of the other drawer and I pull out a really cheap Kodak 126 cartridge Instamatic camera.
Does it have the flash cubes?
Oh yeah, with a flash cube.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
those.
with the flash cube. And I say this will, and I say okay, and I sign this. This will make big light. It's okay. I sign, and I take a photograph of Rolla, then I take a photograph of each of those drawings that Rolla made. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I look at the exposure number on the back of the camera. And I'm trying to remember if I'm trying to remember if
click.
Yeah, snip. Yeah. Click. Click. I'm looking at the back of the camera, and the little number printed on the on the paper backing of the film. Like advances. Like from 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7. And I'm trying to remember. Do I have a roll of 12 exposures or a roll of 24 exposures in
And
this
as you're
camera?
saying that to yourself, you hear, and it's coming from that storm cellar, those doors. Someone's trying to open the doors from the outside.
Oh, that's not good. I mean, I would have
Brola
it's got
ducks down and looks terrified.
it's got a it's got a little simple metal bolt that I would have pulled,
Sure,
but that's that's not good. That's not going to stand for the that's certainly not going to stand up to a gorilla.
Did it sound like maybe it was a huge gorilla pounding like that hard?
Yeah, that's not going to last long. Rolla climbs up onto your shoulder, Amanda, and hugs your neck. And also has its tail like halfway around your neck as well, just holding on.
Peter, can you ask it if the gorilla is a friend?
I ask, is gorilla the friend?
Now it all makes sense.
Sorry, there's a fly in here.
And there's another series of shakes, and you can hear that pin bend. You can hear the metal kind of stretch.
Let's get out of here, guys.
Let's
Is there
get
another
out of
way
here.
out?
Oh yeah, let's take the stairs. Let's take the stairs up and let's take the stairs up and go out the front door, because the bulkhead's on the back of the house.
Yep,
Let's go out the front door.
So Peter, you lead the way. Let's have you act under pressure to kind of lead the group, and if anyone wants to help out, they can. To help out, you roll plus cool. To act under pressure, you also roll plus cool.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to help out by leading.
I've read about this sort of thing, so I get to roll plus sharp.
That's right. So go ahead and roll plus sharp.
Okay, so that's 2d6, roll modifier 2, and that is...
And Jude and Amanda both help or negative?
Yeah, you can both help. It doesn't stack, but if one fails at helping and the other succeeds, then you can choose that.
Oh man,
that is not great. But it's a 6 with your modifier, so
yeah, I rolled a 2 and I rolled a 2 and a 2 plus 2. I rolled a 2 and a 2 plus 4 plus.
Yep, you
plus
got a
2
6,
is a 6.
so anyone helps will push it to a 7.
Okay, I tried to help by like leaving a trail of stuff out of my bag of snacks that might distract the gorilla. Like the last like banana flip and some nuts.
Nice. It looks like Amanda actually, Mark, you rolled twice, and neither of them are good.
Oh, no.
So, Jude, did you roll that help?
I'm going to spend a luck.
Oh.
Since, you know what? This luck is not going to do me any good.
That's right. Awesome.
That's true. I forgot that I had luck. I could have.
That's true, but I like it.
I got a 5.
I was going to say we could retcon that I spend the luck in, which means that
sounds fun. So you guys take off, beat feet. Amanda, per the luck that you had spent, I'm going to go ahead and evoke that move, which means technical difficulties. Yeah. And I think what I'm going to say is that one of your recording devices, unfortunately, is left behind here. So you have to choose one of those.
Okay. That's going to be the tape recorder.
Okay. So yeah, we'll just do the format strike through. That way we know it still exists, but actually, will that let me? Yeah, there we go. We know it still exists. It's a thing that you could go get later, but right now they're monkeys in the house. So maybe not the best choice. You guys storm up the stairs across the goldenrod linoleum floor.
Sounds about right. I mean, it's my grandfather's house. It's the 80s, but this is my grandfather's house.
Exactly.
He probably hasn't updated it since he probably last updated this place in like 1971. or maybe 1967.
And as you guys are running with the luck expenditure, that means that's effectively a 10 plus. So you beat feet, you get out, you guys can grab your bikes. But you see that
I was contemplating being really bad and stealing my grandfather's car, but no, I don't. But I think a bike chase would be more genre appropriate.
Love it. You guys hop on your bikes. Amanda, do you have a basket on the front of the handlebars?
You have to have a basket on the front because sometimes you have to
Rolla hops into the basket and like holds on to the edge of the basket. Imagine it's like a white basket with like little flowers on there.
It's like E.T.
Yes.
I don't always give away my sources, but when you call me on it. Anyway, so you guys race off on the bikes, and when you look up at the house, you see there are a bunch of monkeys up on top of the roof, and there were some of them like hanging down, trying to get into the upper floors. Like they zoned in. And when you guys take off, Rolla's looking back at it, and you see that there's all starting to hop down from the house, and the gorilla comes up through the front door, and you guys are leaving them behind, but there's gotta be 24 various simians that are kind of loping along the road, and you guys zip past on your bikes, and there's a guy who's got his, he's got one of those cool like hoses, and he's watering his lawn and his hedges, and you guys zip past, and he's like, whatever. And then all these monkeys go past, and we just see him staring at the, and then you guys keep going. So where is it?
If I could interject, if this were an 80s movie, he's standing there watering his lawn with one can, and he's got a can of product placement Coca-Cola in his hand, and
he's got
as
New
the
Coke
monkeys,
in his hand, right?
Oh, New Coke in his hand, and as the monkeys run by, he like looks at the Coke and smells it, make sure that he's not. Am I drinking a Coke, or am I drinking something else?
Yeah, and he's like, Janice, you wouldn't believe what I just saw.
Can we also go by Jude's house, and his stoner parents are sitting in the front yard on lawn chairs? They're like, those bunch of monkeys, man. I don't know.
I love that.
Yes, that sounds good.
So
not noticing their son, but noticing the monkeys.
Yeah, totally.
So as we're booking along down the road, and I mean, we're just going in the direction that we can go fastest. Like I'm like, we're pedaling. Like, where are we going? Where are we going? Middle of town, so everyone sees this.
Yeah, let's do that.
Oh,
hey. What?
Dude? Should we hide Rollo?
I was wondering, Peter, he's got an antenna on him? Do you think it's one of those spy things where they're like finding out where he is?
It's a tracker.
Can you break it?
I think I know. I think I might know something. Can we say that there's a that there's like, is there some place that we know that we can like briefly hide and briefly hole up?
Absolutely. Let's say there's and I'm not sure if that is a thing in New Hampshire, but maybe there's a version of it, but like a Kiwanis Park. So there's like an area with picnic tables and a kind of a covered area and a playground and some tennis courts.
There's like, the pub, there's, okay. We can, there's a nearby public park with just that. So let's, so we head over to the park, and there's like, let's say that there's a sheltered pavilion.
Mm-hmm.
It's got some, let's say, and it's the one that's got like hedges along two sides. So if we dug down, it's going to be hard to see, at least from that direction. So we go there, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try something that I read in one of my grandmother's books. This might not work because this isn't science. It's cooler than science. I am going to attempt some magic.
Magic powers. Okay. When you use magic, say what you're trying to achieve, and how you do the spell, and roll plus weird. Now, let's take a look at our effects to determine if this is magic or big magic. So with magic, you can inflict harm. Probably don't want to do this. Enchant a weapon. Do one thing that's beyond normal human limitations. Bar a place or portal to a specific person or type of creature. Trap a specific person, minion, or monster. Banish spirit or curse from the person. Summon a monster, communicate with something that you do not share a language with, observe another place or time, heal harm from injury, cure disease, neutralize a poison.
The thing I wanted to try to do was to, you know, magically, I don't know, block the signal, which I guess, you know, like try to remove the curse of this thing that like
magically
remove the
block the people. So I'm going to say that's big magic. Because yeah, that's just bending, and it's a little bit more than anything you tried to do. It's cooler than science. It's weird science. So I think that you're going to need a total of 3 people.
I was going to
And
say, you know, maybe this isn't so much magic. Maybe this is more like weird. I'm thinking this is less magic, but I think it's more like weird science, if that's okay. But
yeah,
you know, we're use the magic effects, but you know, and so maybe he pulls out of his, you know, so maybe he pulls out some of the things that he pulls out are like this, like weird, or like some like weird early 20th century, like electrical devices. Thinking things with antenna, like you know, shoots electricity up, and Jacob's like, hey, he wouldn't have that. We're not in a lab. That wouldn't work. You know, okay, I'll belay that. That would be cool if we were still in the, but I wouldn't grab that.
so we'll say that the spell's going to take a little while. And the other requirement I'll put on it is that it's going to take the help of Amanda and Jude as well. You can't perform this all by yourself. There are pieces, stanzas within this that have to be performed. And yeah, that's a thing. So let's go ahead and have you use magic powers so you can roll plus weird.
Oh, plus weird. Now, one thing that I have is, look on my equipment. One thing I had was a juju. Oh, that's 1 harm. Yeah, we're not doing that. I was thinking it might give you a bonus on your
Nice.
roll. Okay, so
Now
I
you had
guess
spent a luck. So I'm going to say that while there isn't a simple spell that you know, Peter, per the luck move, you discover that something happening now is related to something you were involved in years ago. And so instead of you being involved, I'm going to bend that a little bit, right? Something that your grandmother was involved in, the idea of using this weird science as your inspiration. What was it that your grandmother stopped? What was some scientific device that your grandmother stopped many, many decades ago using her magic? Do you have an idea?
something that a scientific device that she stopped, or
Stopped or broke. That's what you're kind of using as the formula of what you're about to perform.
okay. My initial thought was she had been trying to use like weird science to like make some kind of, she was trying to make a weird magic device that allows you to talk to animals.
Wow, that's cool. I like that. Nice.
But she broke off that research because it had weird side effects. So
Nice.
she never fully, you know, so she stopped her experiments when she realized that it probably wasn't going to work.
Awesome. So go ahead and give me that weird roll. Roll plus weird.
Roll plus weird. Okay. Well, I hope I roll better because magic. Okay, 2d6 plus 1. Roll the dice. All right, I got an 11.
Wow. So, what does Amanda's participation in this weird science look like, Amanda?
So I think that so Pete, are you using some like some old devices as part of
I think
this?
I think he's got a couple of like old devices that are like
Yeah.
black bakelite with with dials.
Yes.
Black, like
Nice.
black bakelite with dials. There's no label on this thing. This is all custom fabricated. But it's and there's a couple of wires off of it, and it's connected to it's connected to like a modern lantern battery.
Excellent.
And there's like some wires that come off. There's like some wires that come off of it, but then there's like two antennae that come out of the top, and you're holding this, and you've got this thing, and you've got to there's like this there's like a there's like a needle indicator, and you have to like control these two things to basically keep the needle pointed straight up. You don't want it to go one way or the other.
Yep,
So you've got to
that's
manipulate
perfect.
that.
Yep, excellent.
So Amanda, you're helping to keep the needle. Is that what do we see? you
Yeah,
do?
so I'm like monitoring the device to make sure that it's staying in the green zone so that this will work as it's supposed to. If it's not getting enough power, that's one issue. If it's getting too much power, that's an entirely different issue.
Nice.
And at the same time, every once in a while, she's going to try to snap a quick picture of the ritual taking place.
Perfect.
Well, I'm thinking from this device, there's like a red wire with an alligator clip that I clip onto Rollo's antenna.
Nice.
Nice. And then Jude, this is weird science. And so what is the weird thing that you have to do that makes no sense as part of this very like spell with batteries and everything? What is the weird thing that you have to do to keep this thing going?
So it's not clear if this is actually helping or not, but Jude gets quickly confused, and I see Peter handing him like some flags and a semaphore book from a different, maybe even from a different ritual, so that he goes off to the side and feels people. So he's doing all these like flag, different flag positions and stuff, and he's really into it. And maybe there's a shot
looks like
of
an interpretive dance.
Yeah, maybe there's a shot of the monkey kind of mimicking his movements.
Of course, monkey see, monkey do.
But yeah, he just there's probably maybe 10 seconds of Peter explaining it, and then Jude kind of what? And then he gets the book and the flags.
Nice.
I love it.
That's awesome. So this spell happens. You see all three of you, and of course we've spent a little extra money to for the digital effects. You see this signal, right, that connects, and you see this network that's been created, right? And the signal is strongest coming from Rolla. And you see that Rolla seems to be the central, kind of the middle of the web, as it were. And there are all these other strings that are headed back, often the distance away from where North Star is, evidently connecting Rolla to the gorilla, all the other monkeys. Like they are meshed together, but somehow Rolla is the strongest of the signals. And you see that tower, it's pulsing with this odd energy that comes out to this boundary that stretches past you guys, but seems to kind of be like this fence in a way that contains all of them, a boundary that all of them are able to operate within this network. But you realize that Rolla is the fulcrum. That's why these monkeys and this ape need it. And when you sever it, Peter, you come to this realization that when you sever that connection, the entire mesh network will be broken. Rolla will be free, but all of the others will be free. That containment field, whatever is happening from North Star R&D, is off. And there will be some chaos here. But
I'm okay with chaos.
Rolla. So you make that decision, Peter, Amanda, Jude, you guys can meet eyes. Is there anything that you say, any objection you throw up as before Peter maybe flips a toggle? Of course, it's 80s, so you have to see this final motion that happens.
It's old. I mean, this is like tech from the early 20th century. It's a brass knife switch.
Cool. So before Peter pulls that
So
that
before I
brass
throw
knife,
this, I look and I say, this is gonna cause all of those monkeys to just be like normal. They're gonna be like normal monkeys, and they're gonna be running amok in town. Still want to do this?
Amanda says, it's the first step. You got to do it.
and then Jude. Oh,
Jude says,
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I wait for Jude.
yeah. Jude says, well, I could use some gorilla doo-doo for Big Mike's comeuppance.
nice. And then
That seems
boom.
appropriate.
I love it.
Click.
And then you see that light, that indicator light, just goes down, and Rolla looks around, and there's an innocence to Rolla's expression. Something about his demeanor is changed. He doesn't sign frantically. He doesn't seem even afraid. He just seems curious, like he's meeting the three of you for the first time. And as I look at the time, I say, that's like our final shot. I'd like to quickly move to epilogues. So who would like to take a minute or so to talk about, or like during the final credits as they're going on for a TV movie, it like cuts to this epilogue or scene for your character, so that you can put them to bed. Who'd like to go first with epilogues?
I'll go.
Okay.
So in the epilogue, we see Amanda in her home office in her bedroom. She's at her typewriter, and she is just finishing the story. She's got photos laid out from the entire incident. She's ready to bust the story and let everyone know exactly what was happening. And then her mom calls her down to dinner, so she takes out the last piece of paper from the typewriter and sets it down, closes her door and goes downstairs. And then in her room, suddenly we see a shadow looming over her desk.
Awesome. I love it. That's great. Find that out in Monster Squad 2, The Reckoning. That sounds awesome. Mike or Darren, who'd like to go next?
I could go. I'm thinking that there's a scene where Jude takes Rolla home and is really excited, and then there's like an exchange. You can't really tell what's being conveyed, and Jude says, okay, yeah, I could see you want to go live with her. And Rolla like goes off screen, and he looks really sad. But then there's an immediate cut to this like chalkboard in his house where he has this like ridiculously elaborate trap that he's concocting for Big Mike. And there's a very distinct part of the chalkboard that has gorilla doo-doo written in big letters on it. And then end scene.
Nice. Mike, what about you? Did you have an epilogue?
I do. So Peter. So we see Peter. So it's an academic office. It's like it's like a professor's office. And there's a knock on the door, and the camera is looking like over the shoulder of whoever's sitting in the whoever's sitting in the chair, and a voice, a male voice says, "Come in," and the door opens, and Peter is there, and he's got a he's got a big bundle of something or other, and says, "Well, thank you for seeing me. Thank you for seeing me, Professor Sorensen. I know that you are an expert on primate behavior, and I know there was that incident I know there was this incident the other week with all those monkeys in town. Well, we kind of found this one, and I've read your research, and I know that you are I know that you're a strong proponent of animal rights in animal experimentation, and I really need to entrust this in your care, because it's, I mean, I can't really take care of a monkey, and you know an innocent looking Rolo pops up.
Cool. All right. Then the credits end, and that will bring our game to a close. We're right at time, so I will briefly say thank you all so much for giving this a shot. Oh, poor Mike looks like he has an idea.
Oh, sorry. I just thought of the closing shot, which was, and the camera kind of like zooms in on Rolo, who is like looking kind of Oh, and at this point, the wire that was coming out of his head has been like clipped.
Mhm.
Still there, but and we hear the professor say, "Well, we'll take extremely good care of him." And then the monkey looks right into the camera, and there's just a little hint of a grin.
Nice.
Which I think would be the way that they would end this movie if it were shot in the 80s.
Of course they would. As long as they don't end it like Monkey Shines, I'm okay with it. Thank you all for giving this a shot. This has been a joy. I really enjoy it, and I'll go ahead and bring the recording to a close here.